Now what they're doing is they're vilifying myself and Senator Paul. We both had COVID. In my case, I just recently had an antibody test, and I have the same level of antibodies as the doctor who prescribed me the test, who just gotten 2 doses of Moderna. For some reason now, the FDA has come out with a guidance, a report saying that if you have antibodies, that's no proof of immunity. Why is the FDA, CDC, NIH's default position on those of us that have been previously infected that chances are you probably don't have immunity? Why would they say that? It's just not true of almost every other virus that we know, that once you've had the disease, you're immune from it. And certainly if you have an active case of the disease, you sure don't want to get the vaccine. And yet we have this big push to vaccinate everybody, regardless of medical need or potential harm that might come of possibly vaccinating somebody who's been previously infected or currently having a case of COVID.
So you have these 2 letters that you're writing both to the State Department and to NIAID. But I'm actually curious about this. Have you found out what evidence this assertion is that you just described? What evidence that's based on?
No, in fact, there's a study just published out of Israel that shows that those of us that were previously infected have as good, if not better, immunity than the vaccine. And that would make a lot of sense. The vaccine is really designed based on these spike proteins to identify those. When you've had the disease, your immune system identifies the entire coronavirus, which is why people with the SARS-1, 17 years later, appear to be immune to SARS-2, even though SARS-2 is only 80% genetically identical to SARS-1. So the common sense, just basic medicine would indicate that if you've already been infected with the virus, your immune system is going to be pretty capable of warding off a reinfection.
So tell me about these requests that you've made to NIAID and to the State Department.
We're just trying to get a straight answer. As I've listened to Dr. Fauci talking about, for example, gain of function and how we didn't fund any of that. He couches his response in very lawyerly terms. And so I want a straight answer out of him. I don't want him dodging between a lawyerly response. Our letter to the State Department, I just want to figure out, why did they end their investigation into the origin of the coronavirus? Now, the Biden administration, now under, I think, public pressure, has started an investigation through the intelligence community. But again, as the intelligence community, are they going to come clean? What are they going to provide the public? So to me, this is just screaming for transparency, which we haven't had in government for quite some time.
So in questioning, I think it was Senator Kennedy was questioning Dr. Fauci. One of the things he said was really kind of struck me, and I'm going to quote it here. He said, I don't have enough insight into the Communist Party of China to know their interactions with the scientists, sir. I believe that's a direct quote. And I thought that was pretty fascinating because I was wondering how reflective that might be of the level of knowledge of other officials in the U.S. government, in your estimation.
Well, I view that as just a big dodge, a lawyerly, a lawyer-baked dodge of the question. The fact of the matter is if no matter what the answer, no matter what the truth, if Dr. Fauci isn't aware of these things, he should be. And if he is aware of them and he's lying, that's also a problem. So the fact of the matter is he's been providing grants for this type of research for years. They go to conferences, they talk about it. It's published. Again, it's hidden in plain sight. And he had to be aware of the fact that some of these dollars, or certainly there was cooperation with the Wuhan lab. I mean, Dr. Shi was cooperating with the Ralph Barrick out of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hills. I mean, this is all well known. It's been documented. That's what I'm saying. It's hidden in plain sight. So for Dr. Fauci to claim, I don't know anything about this, again, he's either lying, or if he didn't know about it, this guy is completely incompetent and should not be in the position he's in.
certainly for some years, U.S. officials have dealt with, let's say, Chinese officials or Chinese scientists in, let's say, a P4 lab like the Wuhan lab, which is, of course, had been affiliated with the Chinese military and so on, kind of with credulity. They would say, oh, no, we're not working with the military. And say, okay, fine, I accept that. Let's keep doing our work. But from our experiences and decades of reporting, that's not a very reasonable position to have.
No, it's a completely unreasonable position to have. You have to realize when you're dealing with any entity in China, it's the Communist Party of China. They control society. They control all businesses. They certainly would control a level 4 laboratory involved in this type of research. So there's no way that you wouldn't have to, first of all, be 100% certain that the Chinese Communist Party and the People's Liberation Army are going to be knowing full well and fully cooperating with, if not completely directing, the activity of that lab.
Hey, thanks for watching American Thought Leaders. As you're probably well aware, big tech has been censoring a lot of content on its platforms, including some American Thought Leaders episodes, including some other Epoch Times content. Now, to deal with this, we've actually launched a new video platform, Epoch TV. Epoch TV is our premium platform for digital video content. It's got American Thought Leaders, it's got Facts Matter with Roman Balmakov, The Larry Elder Show, Crossroads with Joshua Phillip, and frankly, this is our contribution, if you will, to the uncensored media landscape, which is something we really, really need in this country and around the world, frankly. To subscribe, epochtv.com/ATL. Go to epochtv.com/ATL or hit the link below.